Please excuse me while I pause my current music. I'm gonna make this a very short review. Well, shorter than on my normal 10-minute ones anyway, because what I'm reviewing today, I don't really have any negatives to say. And if you follow music like I do, then you know what came out. And now I'm not reviewing Lil Wayne. Lupe Fiasco. Tetsuo and Youth. Please tell me I said that album right. Lupe Fiasco is one of my all-time favorite rappers, but I was a little nervous going into this album because the last two, well, pretty much anything he's dropped since after the Cool album has been hit or miss depending on, what your preference for music is. Lasers was good, but you can see where the label was kind of forcing him to change up his style, and some of it just didn't work. And then Food and Liquor 2 was, again, the songs were good, but when you're listening to the album front to back, it sounds like an overly long church sermon that you just wish it was over by the time you're halfway through the album. This does not have any of those issues, though. Granted, 3 of the tracks do get near 10 minutes, but you'll find yourself wanting to hit replay on them more than you'll want them to be over. And let's see. The album is broken up into, between certain songs, there's kind of a intro / interlude to the next section with one of the seasons. That's summer, fall, winter, and then the album ends with spring. Each section is kind of like Lupe talking about something different, with the first third of it being talking about self-image. The last third of it is talking about environments, and then the middle piece of it, which is the kind of like the fall section, is personally my favorite section, talking about just everything in general. And Lupe is still doing normal Lupe features, people for choruses, some verses, typical Lupe features. Definitely one of the highlights though is the song Prisoner 1 and 2. It's talking about just Lupe talking about the first half is kind of like talking about the prison system. Second half is talking about how we ourselves are prisoners. And a nice touch is that he has his sister. I'm not probably gonna butcher this name so badly. Aisha, his sister, doing some spoken word to kind of break up the two halves of the song, sort of like how she opened up Food and Liquor 2, his last album. It's just kind of like a quick little spoken word to kind of interlude between the songs and introduce the second half of it. Another good one is actually the first full song of the album, Mural. And I think a lot of people are gonna get turned off of it because it's a 9-minute time on the song, but you don't get bored with the song. Like it's just Lupe just just rapping those hard hitting lyrics, that wordplay. Just like, put it like this: my first time listening to the song, I constantly had my hand on or near the replay button because I had to keep rewinding his lyrics to kind of get what he was saying, because it's a steady stream of rapping. There's no break in it, there's no chorus in it. It's just 9 minutes of straight rapping. Like you would almost think it would be like his version of Rap God with a message in it, and it's just crazy. The other song, well, the whole album from front to back is just mind blowing, and it takes you back to when you first heard the original Food and Liquor, when you first heard the Cool. It's that kind of album that just like kind of blows your mind. And to me, this is the best album that he's ever dropped since the Cool, and it's definitely as good, if not better, than the Cool. Nothing will ever top his debut album, but this gets as close as you possibly can to it. With songs like Deliver that have a message, but it's kind of underlining, it's kind of hidden in the lyrics. You gotta the way this album is set up is like it doesn't dive in politics like Food and Liquor 2 does, like Food and Liquor 2 did, but the songs still have messages in them. And when you listen to when you listen very closely to his lyrics, you hear what he's talking about, like on the song "Deliver," where he's talking about, how some people, how some of us just don't care to, mess with the ghetto because of our perception of the ghetto and how we see it. And then at the same time, you have songs where he's just giving us the wordplay that we love to hear from Lupe on Adoration of the Magi, and I hope I said that right. And then you just have those hard hitting dense verses, like on the song Chopper. I'm not even gonna name the features on there because I only know two of them. I don't know who else is on that track. And then songs like Little Death, No Scratches, bringing back Lupe's longtime collaborator Nikki Jean, and definitely toward the end album highlight Madonna, where he's talking about the just how we always have our mothers, the mothers in the hood. It's just one of those. It's one of those albums that you want to keep on replay just for it longer than just the hype week that it came out. Like I can see myself playing this all throughout 2015 because this already set the bar for hip hop very high this year. And with a lot of other rappers getting ready to drop albums this year, this sets the bar very, very high for it. And I'm not one to quickly call an album a classic, but this to me is a classic album. It is pure hip hop perfection, and you guys know I don't say that a lot about a lot of hip hop albums. But it's overall this definitely if you're a Lupe Fiasco fan, even if you're not a Lupe fan, this definitely needs to be in your collection because it's one of the best albums that I've heard outside of like my normal strange music label. This is the best album that I've heard outside that label, and it's definitely one that needs to be in your collection. But till my next review,